So thank you for joining us for our EAL CT meeting at the beginning of this school year. Our intentions for today are to review the year at a glance document and the Benchview overview document. Also discuss the new evidence due date from Alberta Education, which is November 21st, 2025. Just a quick look at the EAL evidence collection site. Reminder of how to update the benchmark. The how and why of the EAL DEMIT request form on EdForms, and then review some future PG offerings. So first of all, we have our year at a glance document. This document outlines key dates, tasks, and professional development opportunities for high school teachers supporting English language learners throughout the school year. You can see here it's broken down by month. The suggested tasks that we have per month are listed there, as well as PG opportunities that go along with all of that. Just so you're aware, some of you may have had your meetings with your consultants already, or they may be coming up in the coming weeks. Your consultant will bring a printed copy of this for you, so don't feel like you need to print this out. I know for myself, when I go to my meetings, I will bring it on a big piece of paper for you. So again, you can wait for that, or if you'd like it now, you can click the link and it'll take you to the document and you can have the printed copy there, because obviously it's too small to see on the screen here. But yeah, we hope that this helps you guide your practice throughout the year. Another document that we have available to you for this year, and it's new for high school this year, is our benchmark overview document. Again, your consultant will bring a printed copy of this for you to your meeting, but if you'd like to print one for yourself, you can. This kind of goes through throughout the year, so kind of in September, and then for grade 10 to 12, and then for students who are in ESL classes, and then students who are not in ESL classes, and then the jobs to do at the end of the year in April. So just a reminder that when evidence is uploaded for the November 21st deadline, the corresponding strand, so if you collected writing evidence, that writing strand would need to be updated on EdForms. And then for students who are in ESL classes, that writing strand, once that strand is updated in November, that would be the update for the year. And then at the end of the year, you would just review, update if needed. And then just a change as well, just so you know, is that the signatures from parents are not needed until the spring now. So you can do your final update on the benchmark in the spring, and then after it's been updated, then send it for a signature at that time. So you should really only be in the benchmarks in November and then again in April. But again, everything is a school-based decision. The minimum requirement is that one strand is updated inside the year, and generally for our students not in ESL classes, that is the writing strand. And then for our students who are in ESL classes, we update all 4 strands once a year, and it's recommended to update all 4 strands at the end of each ESL course, but again, school-based decision there. And so that's all outlined here in that document. So just going over the evidence collection piece, Alberta Education is requiring that annotated evidence is uploaded and the corresponding strand is updated by November 21st. So if the evidence collected is a piece of writing, then the writing strand on the benchmark would need to be updated on EdForms. So just a note, you may want to consider collecting a writing sample at the start of the semester. This helps identify student needs early, allowing for more focused planning and targeted instruction. And just gives you some extra time to, in relation to that November 21st deadline. So moving on, just wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of our EAL evidence collection site. And just wanted to give a shout out to Janet Post at All Saints and Denise Ogg at Bishop McNally. They were both on our teacher focus group last year, and they are the ones who developed all the resources that are available for high schools on this site. So yeah, it was great to have their insight, and there's also student samples of work on there from their schools, which will help with the annotation process. So you can see the image here is what the evidence collection site looks like. If you click on the writing evidence drop-down menu and scroll down to the bottom, you'll see there are high school writing prompts available there. These are kind of ready to go prompts. A teacher could just print them out. There's a teacher page, a student blackline masters, and if the students are handwriting their writing sample, there's a page there for them to write on that includes the sticker. The annotation sticker is embedded on the page too, so you wouldn't need a sticker. You would just get them to write on that page and then use what's on there as the kind of legend for annotating. There's also speaking available for high school, speaking prompts. So if you have a level 1 student who would not be able to complete a writing task, then there's some speaking images available there with questions that go along with the image. Just also a note for the writing, there are some illustrated examples of each level available on the website. So you can see like, what does it look like for a student to achieve a level 1, a level 2, a level 3, a level 4, and a level 5. So if you're helping teachers to annotate and they're struggling to decipher what level a student is, you can look at the illustrated examples that are available on the website there. Also, lastly, to note that there are support pages available by level for each of the writing prompts. So if you have an ESL 1-2 class, they could get the prompt, but they would get a support page along with the prompt, which has a visual word bank, sentence starters that would be appropriate for their level, as well as cohesive devices that are appropriate for their level. And then there's a support page for level 3 and 4 students and also for level 5 students. Also available is, it's about a 24-minute video that walks you through this site and kind of points out all the different features that are available. And so the link is on the page here or on the link sheet. So if you're interested in watching that video and learning more about this website, you can check there. So just as I spoke about previously, once the annotation is complete, then you would need to take whatever levels you determined on the piece of evidence and populate those levels into EdForms. You can see here's just a little snip of the writing strand and just the vocabulary competency. A reminder that there's vocabulary, sentence structure, and cohesive devices. And then at the bottom of that is the overall writing level that would need to be indicated. It looks exactly the same as last year. There's the blue boxes and you can either select continue level or complete level or start level or proficiency achieved. And so just after they've done the writing and you've determined what level they are, you would just select one of those. And just a reminder that those little blue circles that are beside each level, they do give you, if you click on those, they give you examples of what each of those levels would, if a student had achieved them, that they would be able to use either those words or those sentences. And again, along with annotating and updating the strand on EdForms, there's also the piece of uploading the evidence. Again, it's the same as last year. It's at the very top of the benchmarks again. So you would need the date of the assessment, the assessor's name, the language strand. So you'd either select writing or speaking. And then a reminder of the naming convention, which is EAL annotated sample underscore 2 initials underscore date with 3 letters, 2 numbers, 4 numbers. And then the box below there is the place for the EAL annotated upload to go. Just wanted to go over the EAL demit request. This process is often needed for high school students. We see these the most for high school students, and it's generally for students who are returning to our district after several years elsewhere. For example, if a grade 10 Canadian-born student is listed as a level 2 because maybe they attended grade 2 in our district and the last time they were in our district they were a level 2, but they have now had 8 more years of schooling and no longer require language support or programming, this would be an appropriate student to put in an EAL demit request for. So you would simply email your EAL consultant, and then you would do the Blue Plus plan and then EAL demit request. And you can see there's just a snip of what it looks like. And once you've emailed your EAL consultant, you would just select consulted with ELL consultant and the date. And then you would have to press save and then initiate workflow and approve. And if you feel that you need a further explanation on the form, there's a spot for you to type some notes about the demit. Usually just a reminder to your consultant of why you're demitting them, which is I also always appreciate a little reminder. And again, your consultant really appreciates you just sending that quick email because we have hundreds of things in our bell and it has to come to us first before it gets approved, and we might not see it in the long list of things in our bell on EdForms. So again, that would be great if you could just email your consultant if you're putting forward one of those. The other choice on the EAL demit request is if a parent requests a demit. And so again, that happens sometimes, possibly in high school. So if a parent requests their student be demitted from EAL, you would just follow this process as well. Just wanted to make note that this form is not needed to demit students when they have achieved proficiency. These students would be marked as demit in the year-end summary section in the spring, and then they will be demitted in the next school year. So the same process as per usual regarding if students have now, say you annotate the writing and they have achieved proficiency, in the spring you would then mark them as demit in the year-end summary, and then next year their EAL code would be removed. Just wanted to point out some PG opportunities that are coming up. On October 10th, the PG day from 1 till 2:30. We'll be offering paired session or the same session, one in the south and one in the north. So one at St. Albert the Great and one at St. Josephine Bakita. And it is EAL evidence collection planning session. It is geared for kindergarten to grade 12. So this session is in person, and it's to prepare for the November deadline for EAL evidence to be uploaded. We'll review the EAL evidence collection site, explore key resources, and share examples of speaking and writing evidence. You'll also learn how to annotate and update benchmarks after collection, and then we will print some of the writing prompts and speaking prompts. So if you wanted to just grab the printed copy while you're there, that will be available. And then on October 15th at 3:45 online, there'll be a refresher on the EAL evidence and annotating samples for all teachers, and you can register at the link there. It's just on the professional platform. And then I apologize for inundating your email with some calendar invites today. I just thought better to put them in your calendar so you're aware, but if you didn't get the calendar invites, please let me know. Hopefully I didn't miss anyone. But our first in-person meeting will be during exam break in January on January 15th from 1 till 3 here at St. John in room 124. And then our year-end CT meeting will be June 9th from 1 till 3 here at St. John again in room 124. So looking forward to seeing you all in person at that time. Okay, if my colleagues could stop the recording, we will then move on to any questions.